by first chanting some prayers and invoking some blessings, because our whole movement is a movement of prayers, and it's only by the prayers of senior Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, and the Supreme Lord, we can, share something by their mercy. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarini Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanabhaya Namaha Pankajamalini Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangri Krishna Varnam Tasha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagya Sankirtana Prarijantihi Sumedasa Nivritta Tarshay Upagiyamana Bhavo Shadachotra Manobhirama Ka Uttama Shloka Gunanuvada Umam Svirajit Vina Pashuknan Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Om Tat Sat. So I offer my humble obeisance to all of you who are so wonderful devotees and took out your valuable time on this Saturday morning to read, hear, and assimilate the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, which is our life and soul, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, which is our life and soul, the manual of life, which helps in cleansing ourselves of all the material impurities. And within that section of Bhagavad Gita, we are at chapter 9, which is also called the most confidential knowledge. As we have discussed multiple times, that Bhagavad Gita is like a jewel box. The box is important, but the inside is even more important, the jewel. So the inside is the middle section, which focuses on Bhakti Yoga. And the inside of the inside, the most confidential knowledge is chapter 9 and 10, which talk about, the unalloyed glories of Bhakti. So we read till text number 31 last time. And we were discussing about how to overcome faults. What happens if someone makes a mistake? Krishna does not take it seriously. Krishna forgives that person easily and considers him as a sadhu or a devotee only if that mistake is incidental, if it was an accident, if it was not intentional or planned. And we discussed the 6 R, how an honest person would reflect upon it, would try to realize it and try to do some reformation and not repeat it. Whereas an arrogant, proud person will, first of all, there'll be no self-reflection that I am right, I know what's right, you are wrong, my way or highway. So that's totally opposite from the 6 R's which we discussed. So with this, we will move on to the next verse, which is text 32. So we'll cover these 3 verses and we'll leave a little more time for questions if anyone has, because we're always running short on time for questions. Today we'll leave a little more time. So like always, if anyone wants to read, you can raise your hand and then you get your turns to read these verses. Okay, yes, Anita Mataji, you want to begin, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna everyone. Mam hi partha vyapastritya yeyapi supapa yonaha striyo vaishyas tatha sudras te api yanti param gatim. Hare Krishna. Puri translation of her.
Okay. O son of Partha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vishyas, merchants, and Sudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. We'll read a few lines from the purport. So would someone like to read here, this section? Yes. Shitala Mataji.
Hare Krishna devotees. It is clearly declared here by the Supreme Lord that in devotional service, there is no distinction between the lower and higher classes of people. In the material conception of life, there are such divisions, but for a person engaged in transcendental devotional service to the Lord, there are not. Everyone is eligible for the supreme destination. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18, it is stated that even the lowest, who are called chandalas, dog eaters, can be purified by association with a pure devotee. Therefore, devotional service and the guidance of a pure devotee are so strong that there is no discrimination between the lower and higher classes of men. Anyone can take to it. The most simple man taking shelter of the pure devotee can be purified by proper guidance. Hare Krishna.
Okay. And just a few more lines we will read also from here. That the process of devotional service is so strong that the pure devotee of the Supreme Lord can enable people of all lower classes to attain the highest perfection of life. This is possible only when one takes shelter of Krishna or the pure devotee. As indicated here, the word vyapashrita, one who has one has to take shelter completely of Krishna. Then one can become greater than the Jnanis yogis. So many wonderful points are there in this particular verse. Basically, last time we discussed about incidental fault, right? If an accident happens, which no one wants, no one plans for it, but still it happens. So is that person ineligible for bhakti? Krishna says, no, I will forgive that person. I will consider him or her as sadhu only. What about inherent fault? For example, because of the past bad karma, one could be born in a meat-eater's family, Chandala family, dog-eater's family, or one could be born in a very poor family because of the past karma, or one could be born in with multiple challenges because of the past karma. But Krishna says, I do not discriminate. I do not discriminate. There is no distinction between higher or lower. Because in the eyes of God, in the eyes of the Supreme Lord, all of us are his children. Whether one is rich or poor, whether one has a white skin or black skin, whether one has a male body or a female body, whether one has very high degrees like PhD and all those things, or one is illiterate. One doesn't even know how to read or write, like the story of South Indian Brahmana, which we discussed multiple times. So all these are designations on the bodily level. On the spiritual level, there are no designation. There is no one high or low, because an intelligent person, vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavihastini, shunicheva shopakecha pandita samadarshina. Intelligent person or intelligent devotee or the Supreme Lord, they don't make any distinction. Like Lord Nityananda Prabhu recently was his appearance day. He went to the most wretched Jagai and Madai and gave them love of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada, he came to a city like New York City, filled with people of, from, we can say, not so Brahminical background, not so highly cultured background. They were indulging in all sorts of bad activities like meat eating, intoxication, illicit affairs, drugs, etc. But as mentioned here, even by the guidance of a sincere, by proper guidance of a pure devotee, even the most wretched can become a pure devotee. And Prabhupada they showed that by example. We were not talking about some fairy tales which happened 10 million years back. We're not talking about millions or thousands of years ago. We're talking about the present situation. And it's happening even now also. There are so many people in the jail. They are in jail. They are reading Bhagavad Gita and their lives are getting transformed. Because of their past misdeeds, they may have been in jail, or because of their past misdeeds, one could have whatever background one could have, but these are all externals. Bhakti does not exclude anyone. Bhakti in the Supreme Lord is all encompassing. There's a nice story between Akbar, Akbar Birbal stories. So one time, this, Akbar, Birbal, they were having a conversation, and Birbal said to Akbar, "Wow, you are greater than God. Akbar, you can do something which even God cannot do." Akbar was feeling a little proud about himself. I'm great, and and Birbal wanted to humble him. So he said, "Well, you can do something which even God cannot do." And Akbar was thinking, "Yeah, actually, maybe I'm really as good as God or even greater than God." So he said, "Really? Can you be a little more specific? What's on your mind, Birbal? Can you tell me?" And then Birbal humbled him and said, "You can throw someone out of your kingdom, because your kingdom is limited, but God cannot do that, because everything is God's property." Because everyone belongs to God, whether one is a dog or a dog eater or a doctor or engineer or rich or poor or 5-year-old or 50-year-old or 100-year-old or elephant or male, female. Everyone is a child of God. So God cannot, exclude anyone. And he really wants everyone to come back, right? Like Mata Ganga. Ganga is liquid form of God. Will Mata Ganga say, "Hey, you are from a poor family, don't enter my waters. Hey, you have to be a billionaire to enter my water. Hey, you are in a male body, you cannot enter. Oh, you're in a female body, you cannot enter. Oh, you are from this country, so you cannot enter." Mata Ganga does not exclude. Anyone can go and get purified by bathing in the Ganges. So anyone can become a devotee. Anyone, every saint had a past, every sinner has a future. So the point is that Krishna consciousness is for everyone and anyone without any bias, right? In this material world, there are so many biases, right? Everyone is fighting with each other. Males say, "Oh, we are males, we are better." Oh, females say, "No, how come you're better? We can do what you can do." So, or someone will say, "Oh, my religion can also do what your religion can do. My country can also do what your country can." So there is a lot of fighting going on basis of bodily designation, or my color of skin is better than yours, or I look better than you, or my wealth is better than you. A lot of fighting based on all these external parameters. Therefore, there is no peace in the world because of lack of Krishna consciousness. But let's see what Srila Prahlad Maharaj says in this beautiful verse. Are there any designations really required to perform bhakti or not? So who would like to read this wonderful verse? Vipul Prabhu, you want to read?
Thank you, Boji. Horizontal devotees, the Pranam, all blessed Srila Prabhupada. Bharat Maharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.9. Manne dhana bijano rupa tapa shrutta ujas tejo prabhava balo paurusho buddhi yoga naradhana hi bhavanti parasya pumsho bhakta tutasya bhagavan gajo jutha payo. Prahlad Maharaj continued, one may possess wealth, an aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, luster, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and mystic yogic power. But I think that even by all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service. Gajendra did this, and thus the Lord was satisfied with him. Back to Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you. Isn't it beautiful? So the Lord does not see dhana, riches, abhi jana, high birth. Oh, he's from Brahminical family. Oh, he's from this family. No. Rupa, oh, beautiful person. No. Tapaha, oh, a very austere person. He's very austere. He only drinks milk once a day. No. Shruta, knowledge. Oh, he's very learned. He knows 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Will the Lord be pleased? No. Ojaha, sensory power. Tejaha, bodily effulgence. Oh, he's very effulgent. Prabhava, influential, the great leader, president, prime minister, governor, etc., or any form of has a lot of influence. Bala, strength. Oh, he's Mr. World, Miss World. He can lift 500 pounds. Paurusha, or Paurusha is of the transcendent. Buddhi, intelligence. Paurusha is diligence. Buddhi is intelligence. Yoga, mystic power. Anuma, Lahima, all these mystic powers. So all these 12 qualifications are not great in the eyes of God. In the eyes of the Supreme Lord, He does not consider all these things unless one has bhakti. Bhaktya tushto bhagavan gajayuthapaya. Krishna is satisfied with bhakti. All these qualifications may be helpful only if one has bhakti. Otherwise, they will become disqualifications. Because one could be proud of one's beauty, one could be proud of one's learning, one could be proud of one's wealth, dhana, one could be proud of the high birth, one could be proud of one's strength. But a devotee knows the art to use all these with bhakti, like Gajendra did. Another beautiful verse in the Padyavali. Who would like to read this? Anyone wants to read this? Try, don't worry, try. Yes, Avani?
Hare Krishna. 9.33 Lord doesn't see background in bhakti. Vyadasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrayasya ka kupjaya kim unam rupam adikam kim tat sudamno dhanam vamsako vidurasya yadhava pater ugrasya kim parusham bhaktya tusyati kevalam nacha guner bhakti priyo madhava. Haribol.
Okay, nice. So Vyadasya acharanam. Vyada, or a butcher, or we see the story of Mrigari. He was a very bad quality, half killing animals. Even Daku Ratnakar, who later became Valmiki. So many examples are there who had a very bad conduct in the past. Acharanam, acharanam. They did not have good character. They had a very bad character, but by the process of taking shelter of a bona fide guru, they became pure devotees. Well, someone will say, well, okay, acharan does not matter, but age matters. Dhruvasya cha vayu. The ayu of Dhruva was only 5 years when he got the darshan of the Supreme Lord. So age does not matter either. One can be a devotee in the womb of the mother, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Dhruva Maharaj. At the very young age, they were practicing. And of course, one can also become a pure devotee at a later age. So age does not matter. Okay, what about Vidya? What about knowledge? Gajendra was an elephant body. Elephants are they are not considered very intelligent, right? This famous story is shared with the elephants. When they are small, their master ties them with a rope to a pole. At that time, they don't have the strength to overcome or to pull that rope or to get free, and they feel held. They feel bounded. But as the elephant is growing, he's so conditioned that he cannot get out of this rope. Even at the youth or the peak of his adulthood, where he has a lot of strength, he still feels, oh, my master has tied me with the rope and he cannot get out. So basically, the animals, we know that they have the intelligence is relatively lesser or less developed. But that's also not a disqualification. Gajendra became a devotee. We know that so many, the Vanar Sena of Lord Hanuman was such a great devotees were there. We know the dog in the Shivananda Saints party was a great devotee. The Lord Chaitanya gave him his coconut pulp personally. So the squirrel where Lord Ram, caressed her back, and she got the 3 marks of the Lord's Ram's lotus fingers. So there are so many examples that even animals, there are so many examples even now in India. You may have seen that cows come and sit in the Bhagavatam class. Sometimes, the bulls come and sit in the Bhagavatam class. So there are a lot of examples that the bhakti is not only that generally humans can practice, but there are examples of even animals also taking part in the bhakti. Okay, what about Kubja? Did she had a lot of beauty? No. The Kubja or so many examples are there. She was like henchback, Kubja, they say Kubri in Hindi, we say Kubri, henchback. But Krishna did first plastic surgery and made her very beautiful by his divine lotus hands. So Rupa also does not matter. On the contrary, one may be very beautiful and not devotee, and one may get proud. And Kunti Maharani says that becomes a disqualification. Kim tat Sudamo Dhanam, the Dhana we just read. Did Sudama have lot of wealth? Dhana? Did he have, so many devotees we see, like even Tukaram Maharaj, Sudama, so many examples are there. They're completely dependent on the Lord. They did not have great wealth. They did not have even some little grains to feed their family, but they had one ingredient. Bhaktya tushyati. Vamshaka ko Vidurasya. Vidura was not a great, born in a great family. So same with Porusham. So all these are and there are countless other examples, not just in the history books or our literatures, but even we see in this life that how so many like Prabhupada disciples, they were not some of them had great wealth, but they gave that up. Some of them had a lot of bad habits, they gave all that up. And they became great scholars, great devotees, and completely transformed their lives because of the process of bhakti. Because bhakti priya madhava. What is priya is not wealth. What is priya is not the rupa. What is priya is not the learning to the Lord. Krishna sees bhakti. How much bhakti one has, how much love and devotion one has. So it's a very nice verse that Lord does not exclude, and the Lord's pure devotee does not exclude anyone from process of bhakti. So basically there is hope for all of us, no matter what our background may be, right? Rich or poor, male or female, old or young, that does not matter. So what matters is how sincerely are we trying to develop those devotion qualities in bhakti. Okay. So we'll read the next verse. Yes, Vinita, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajasayastata anityam aksukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. How much more this is so of the righteous brahmanas, the devotees and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So this world is referred to as anityam asukham. In other places also the same words are used, dukhalayam. So asukha means dukkha, right? Asukham lokam is a place of asukha or a place of dukkha. Anitya means ashashvatam, same word. Nitya means shashvat, anitya means ashashvat. So this is the nature of this material world. This is anityam asukham or dukhalayam ashashvatam. But one who is engaged, prapya bhajasva va mam, who is engaged in rendering, Prabhupada is saying, loving devotional service unto me. Me means Krishna, unto Lord Krishna. That person will attain the topmost destination, and that is back home, back to Godhead. So in this verse, this is continuation from the last verse. Even the person who may have inherent lower qualities like poverty or because of past karma, or maybe some bodily defect, or maybe some, born in a Chandala family, in a meat eater's family, etc., etc. In any kind of background, they also have hope. What to speak of those who have inherent, who have done some piety in the past. So they will also, in short, good or bad, they also can get to the same destination, provided they make good use of it. Because often if someone has, let's say, wealth or high birth or beauty, then one can become puffed up also with that. And although a favorable opportunity has been given to him or her, but they may not take it favorably and they may make misuse of it. And next time they may lose the opportunity which God gave them, which Krishna gave them, this opportunity to render loving, favorable devotional service. Take to my devotional service and quickly come back home. This is the Lord's message. Because Arjuna was born in a royal family. Arjuna was a very high class, had a lot of good qualities. So in short, the point is, whether one is as in any kind of dualities, one should not remain. Prabhupada is mentioning in a beautiful purport here towards the end. Who will read this paragraph? Let's read this paragraph. Yes. Rashmi Mataji, please.
Arjuna was born in a saintly royal family. To him also the Lord says, take to my devotional service and come quickly back to Godhead. Come back home. No one should remain in this temporary world, full as it is with miseries. Everyone should attach himself to the bosom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that he can be eternally happy. The devotional service of the Supreme Lord is the only process by which all problems of all classes of men can be solved. Everyone should therefore take to Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect. Krishna Master.
Thank you, Kalpesh, so much. Where are you joining from? I'm just curious. Where do you live?
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis. Oh, thank you. We're so grateful that you joined.
Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad. So such crystal clear message is given. Who wants to live in a place which is full of temporary, and which is full of misery? Asukham lokam. Everyone wants to be in a place eternally happy. The spiritual world is called Vaikuntha. No kunthas. Kuntha means anxiety or misery. This is our natural position. Bhakti is not something unnaturally imposed upon us. The natural position is anandamayo bhyasa. We are pleasure-seeking beings. We are looking for happiness. Everyone wants to be happy in life. Ultimately, one may think, oh, if I get that job, I'll be happy. One may think, if I get that money, I'll be happy. One may think, I have to get that car, I'll be happy. But that does not really give happiness, right? Momentarily, it may give, let's say one gets a new job, one gets a new home, one gets a new car. Some momentarily so-called pleasure will be there, but ultimately then the same thing may become a cause of distress, right? Anyone has experienced that? We're happy to get something momentarily, and then the same thing becomes a cause of distress, right? I'm sure we all, someone wants to say that. Yeah, Ramanji, want to share?
No, Prabhu, I was just saying that, yes, I have experienced that many times. So, yeah.
Can you
I'm
share
sure
one example of some particular experience you had, and to share an example? If it is not so
no,
personal.
Prabhu, maybe overly simplistic, but even in job or career, we think, hey, if we get to that position, I'll be happier. But then in the end, it is like a net negative, it comes with its own baggage, and, so you're far worse off than, and so, that is one such example. And there are many others.
So true.
Correct.
Thank you for sharing that and being open. But in the process of bhakti, there is keval ananda kanda. Because we are the followers of Lord Chaitanya, and Nityananda is always in bliss. When we connect to the source of all bliss, Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, then we will be in bliss. When we serve Krishna, we'll be really joyful. When we serve ourselves, we'll become more selfish and more miserable. This is the difference between Krishna consciousness versus self-consciousness. So, in short, these 32 and 33 verses are primarily talking about that God does not have any bias. He is equal to all, and He wants everyone to come, rich or poor, young or old, Brahmana or Vaishya or Shudra or any male, female. Does not all these things are, does not matter. Now we'll read a very, very important verse, and this will be the last verse for today. So let's see who would like to read. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, you want to read the verse, please?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandat Pranam. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yukta ivam atmanam matparayana. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, Vedi, you want to read the translation and maybe the first line of the purport too?
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Purport. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world.
Thank you so much. So as we promised that we'll talk about the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogda Gopal Nandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhogda Dugdam Gita Amritam Pibu. All the Vedic literatures, Upanishads, Puranas, etc. are compared to a cow. And what's the essence of a cow? Is the milk, right? That milk, nowadays we don't have time. We don't even know the names of the 18 Puranas, right? Anyone knows? 18 Puranas, all the names. The 108 Upanishads, right? Anyone knows all the names? Even knowing the names is very hard. What to speak of what is inside them, isn't it? But neither we have to worry about it. That's fine. Because Krishna knows that Kali Yuga people are very busy in their lives. So he's giving the essence. Okay, take the essence. Essence is Bhagavad Gita. Dugdam Gita Amritam. This is the Amrit, the nectar of all the scriptures, conclusion of all the scriptures, the essence of all the scriptures is Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna is giving that as a milkman. He's a cowherd boy. And then through the medium of Arjuna. Arjuna was already a self-realized pure devotee, but he is acting as a medium, as a calf, so that all of us can receive this message and purify our lives and be happy, right? This is the real process, as Prabhupada mentions, to the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contamination of material world. Anityam asukham lokam. If you want to be delivered from this cycle of repeated birth and death, suffering, so many birth, old age, disease, death, then the real formula is bhakti. And this, so chapters 7 to 12, Bhagavad Gita is the essence of script, all the Upanishads, and the 7 to 12 are the middle section, right? 18 chapters are there, 7 to 12 are in the middle, which is the essence of the essence, right? In the middle, even in the middle 7 to 12, there is the middle 2, right? There are 8 chapters to the left of chapter 9 and 8 chapters to the right of chapter 8, right? So the middle 2 are the essence of Bhakti Yoga section. And of that essence, of the essence, of the essence of the essence is text number 34. Because there are 9 chapters to the left of chapter 9, this text, and there are 9 chapters to the right of this text. So this is like a real jewel, the real Kohinoor, real diamond of Bhagavad Gita is this chapter, is this verse in particular. Now you may say, well, that's a little too much. You're like too much. So if that's too much, then no, why would Krishna repeat it? Why would Krishna repeat it? When a teacher repeats something, guess what it means? When a teacher repeats, hey, my child, I'm telling you, this is really important, right? What does that mean? Who would tell? Yes, Vedi?
It means it is very important. It means probably try to remember that.
Can you say it louder?
It means it is important.
It is important. Okay.
It will be in exam.
It'll be in the exam. It will be in the exam. Life is a preparation, death is the examination. If we work on this verse, we will pass the exam of life, right? Because the teacher, the Supreme Lord, who is the Guru in this case, inheriting the disciple, is telling to the disciple or the student, hey, my child, this verse is very important. This will help you to pass the exam of life. So if one follows this verse, one's life is perfect. If one forgets everything of Bhagavad Gita and just remembers this verse, one's life is perfect, right? Because this is the essence. Now, can we prove it? So we'll take 2 more verses which are connected to this verse, 1864 and 65, where Lord Krishna is repeating. And chapter 18, we are towards the end. Just imagine the situation. Bhagavad Gita is like last, few verses are going on. So Lord Krishna says something. Let's see what that something is. Who would read this verse? Yes, Kirti Patilji, you want to read, please?
Yes. सर्वगुह्यतमं भूय शृणु मे परमं वचः इष्टोऽसि मे दृढमिति ततो वक्ष्यामि ते हितम्.
Yes, I can read the translation, please. Yes, Surya Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction. the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. We're so grateful for your association. Thank you. So now Bhagavad Gita is about to wrap up. The teacher is about to wrap up his class. And the teacher, before the class ends, says, my dear child, this is really important. We just discussed. This is really, really important. And I'm telling you that because you're my friend, right? If it would not have been for Arjuna, we would have not, received Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna was like a medium who's helping us to receive this. So hear this from me, for it is for your benefit, or hitam, satyam prayam hitam. So this is the real thing, for not Arjuna's benefit, but for our benefit, for all of us who are struggling in this anityam asukham lokam. This is the most confidential knowledge, which we just read, but we'll read it again. Let's read this verse again, 1865. Just after this, Krishna gave this verse. Yes, Akshay?
Hare Krishna Devi, should I read this verse?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Man manabha madbhakto madhyaja mam namaskuru mam evayasyasi satyam te pratijane priyos ashmi.
Pratijane priyosime.
Pratijane priyosime.
Very nice. Okay, who has not yet read? Read the translation. Yes, Sampada, please.
Hare Krishna. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Hari Bol. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. This verse, the first line is as it is, verbatim, ditto. And the second line is also paraphrased. If you see 934 and 1865. Because it's so important, therefore Krishna is repeating it twice. So let's try to understand this verse a little more. 4 things are mentioned basically here. What are the 4 things which Krishna is asking us here? Man, mana. What does that mean? Mana, mana. Man, mana. So engage your mind in me, in thinking about me. Bhav mad bhakto. Bhakta means devotee. Become my devotee. Krishna is saying, become my devotee. Madhyaji. Worship. Do my worship. Mam namaskuru. You offer pranams, respects unto me. These are the 4 things. And what will happen? That's in the next line. If you do those 4 things, yuktva. Yukta means firm or absorbed. Mame vaishyasi yuktva. If you are completely, certainly absorbed in me, or linking all these things unto me, then you will become matparayanaha. In this way, being completely absorbed in me, you will come to me. You will come to me means you will be free from this anityam asukham lokam. You'll get to the topmost destination and it will go back home, back to Godhead, which is the real goal of human form of life. So by doing these 4 things, number 1 and number 2, right? Number 1 and number 2 are engaging what, right? What are we engaging? Are we engaging our gross body or subtle body in number 1 and 2? Subtle body.
Subtle body.
Is the mind, right? Our mind. Engage your mind, man, mana. Engage your mind in thinking about me. So we can think about Krishna in good way also and bad way also. Correct? Like, was Kamsa also thinking about Krishna? Right? Was Shishupal also thinking about Krishna? Was Hiranyakashipu also thinking about Nrsingadev? Right? So we can be thinking about Krishna in a bad way also, right? Like plans to kill, like Kamsa was always meditating, oh, where is my call? How do I destroy? Sending this demon, Bakasur, Akasur, Takasur, Dhenukasur, so many asuras he would send, try to kill Krishna. His whole meditation, Ravana's whole meditation was to devise a plan to kill Lord Ram. Of course, we know the background story of Jai Vijay and why Lord arranges these pastimes. But the point is they were thinking in an unfavorable way. Therefore, the second point is important. Mad bhaktau, man mana, bhav mad bhaktau. Become my devotee. Anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttam. So think of Krishna in a favorable way, in an anukul way. Like Mata Yashoda. When we think now, how can I think of Krishna? Krishna, we can think about so many ways about the Supreme Lord. Lord's merciful nature, Lord's pastime, how he was so merciful to Putana, who came to kill him by feeding poison. One can think about the strength of the Supreme Lord, how he did Govardhan Leela. One can think about the sweetness of the Lord. The Lord is crying, scared of Mata Yashoda, right? One can think about the names of the Lord, the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One can be absorbed in so many pastimes, names, form, qualities, mercy, beauty, strength, wealth, beauty, magnanimity. So many forms are there of the Lord. Different incarnations, they're all thinking, or even thinking about his devotees is even more pleasing to him. So thinking about pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, like great acharyas, etc., is also thinking about Krishna only, right? There are so many ways one can think about Krishna, but in a favorable way one should think. Therefore, the second point is also very important. But one will say, hey, it's too much, I cannot think of Krishna. Then at least engage the body. The next two items are on the bodily level. Madhyaji, you offer some arati, some pushpam, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, right? It does not take a lot to do that. You offer some incense, offer some lamp, offer namaskuru, one should daily offer obeisance to the Lord, to the deities, to the devotees, to the Tulsi Maharani, doing parikramas, engaging our body, our speech. Like right now we're reading Bhagavad Gita, which is not different from God or the Supreme Lord, honoring prasadam, thinking that this prasadam Lord has personally, tasted. These are the remnants of Lord. We should, before honoring prasad, we should think like that. That way we are thinking of Krishna, right? So this way we have to tune our consciousness. We have to tune our mind. Mind naturally, because of the past conditioning, is absorbed of thinking of material things. So the more we engage in materialistic things, the more mind will think of that. Recently, we were reading in Canto 10, Srila Madhvacharya explains what kind of dreams, one can even control one's dreams. How? Very simple. If the whole day, let's say, if the whole day I am watching cartoons, right? If the whole day, or majority of the time, 5-6 hours I'm watching cartoons, or let's say kids, or even for the adults, I'm watching Hollywood or Bollywood songs. What kind of dreams I will get? Anyone? Any guesses? Any guesses? Which is a very tough question. Yes, Avni.
Our dreams will be about what we watched. So like if we watched a lot of TV that day, then we'll like dream about what we watched. Like if we watched a scary movie, then you can get a dream about a ghost or something.
Very good. Has anyone experienced that or has got dreams like this? Right? Karina, you want to share? Yeah.
Babaji, I never had that experience before, but I'm sure I did when I was little because I like to watch scary things somehow.
So you would get scary dreams, ghosts, and someone trying to harm you or something?
Well, I never really get those dreams, but when I was little, I did.
Interesting. So the whole
So
point.
I have a question. You said everything materialistic is also his creation, right? But it is very easy for us, for our mind to engage in the creation than the creator. Even our dreams are about creations only, not about the creator. How, and that's a trap, right? Living, breathing, or even sleeping, you are just thinking about materialistic things. So that's a trap either ways, right? Either in the conscious or in the subconscious mind. How to overcome that?
Excellent question. This is a wonderful question, Kalpejji. So the answer is, Krishna says, by the ABCD of bhakti. The bhakti ABCD begins with association. Whatever we engage our mind conscientiously in the subconscious state also, the mind will go there, right? From a very millions of lifetimes, we have been consciously serving material energy, right? Therefore, even subconsciously, the natural, state is to go in the wrong direction. Like there are no classes. Hey, learn the art of smoking, learn how to gamble, learn how to, do wrong things. People are naturally into those. For a child, it's gaming, right? Like you give a child, the child will play for 10 hours games, video games or movies. For an adult, you give someone for maybe casinos or someone, it could be intoxication. They will be so absorbed, even to the extent there are so many studies, they like whole night they forget eating, they forget sleeping, they forget everything, and they're absorbed in that. So it's pretty much the same thing. The child is absorbed in the things which they are attracted to, and the adults are also absorbed in the same thing. But when we make a conscious choice, and that is difficult, right? Like everyone wants to play, every child wants to play, and no one wants to study. But there is a conscious choice. You have a conscious choice, and initially the mind will not like that. Initially, the mind will not. So initially, first we have to do as a ritual, right? Like Daku Ratnakar, he said when he was a dacoit, he was a murderer, he was a looter. When Narada Muni met him, he was so polluted in his consciousness, in his even words. Sri Narada Muni said, "Why don't you chant the names of Ram? Why don't you chant Ram?" He said, "I don't know all that stuff. I am so polluted. I can only chant Mara." He said, "Okay, you chant Mara, 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 Mara." So under the guidance of a bona fide guru, a teacher, no matter how bad our current situation may be, there is hope, right? That's the whole point. No matter how bad one's past could be, there is hope for everyone. Putana had come to kill Krishna. Krishna gave her the position of a dhatri, a mother, because she had little desire. So Krishna sees little desire to serve. So if Krishna sees that, okay, my child is consciously trying, we may not be at this level. This is a very high level of always thinking about God. But are we wanting to please Krishna? We may not be able to always please Krishna or please God. But are we trying to cultivate that? Are we having a spiritual desire to please Lord? And pleasing God means pleasing Guru, because this is the instruction of the scriptures. If Guru is pleased, Krishna is pleased. If Guru is not pleased, then Krishna will never be pleased. So we have to make conscious attempts, and that becomes easy in good association. If we are in the association of drunkards, rendering bhakti will be very easy, right? Not those who are drinking alcohol, those who are drinking the intoxication of Krishna bhakti, like Lord Nityananda. The point is, good association has a good impact. Bad association has a negative impact. Why is it easy to study in a library? Because everyone is studying. People go to gym because everyone is focused on working out, on their health, and they naturally feel inspired. Similarly, when we are in a spiritual atmosphere with good association, devotees will naturally feel about thinking of Krishna, chanting, you know. When we are in a bad environment, bad association, then naturally the lower modes will overpower us and they will bring out the worst in us. So the secret is, open secret is association. Association will help us to make good choices. And naturally, it is not an overnight process to always think of Krishna. We're all trying there. We're in a different journeys, but we're trying to become a devotee and to always think. So even the mind is away, initially, we should continue externally. Therefore, the 3 and 4 are also there, right? Sometimes we may be offering obeisances, but thinking of something, namaskuru. Sometimes we may be offering arati, but thinking of something, right? It's not ideal, but it's better than not doing, right? If one thinks, no, I will, some, people say, when I do arati or when I chant, my mind runs in different directions. So better I not do it. That is as good as saying, I'm contaminated. So I'm so contaminated, I cannot even take the medicine. Our medicine is there to help to get to the cure. So we have to take the medicine, whether we feel like or don't feel like. The example given is jaundice. When a patient of jaundice, the medicine is sugarcane juice. The sugarcane juice appears sweet to a healthy person, but to a person suffering from jaundice, it appears bitter. The person thinks, no, it's so bitter, I can't take it. Take it out of here. I can't take any drop anymore. No, we have, even if it appears bitter, we have to take it as a routine, because we are children in the path of bhakti. We have not matured in our bhakti, at least I'm talking about myself. So we have to take as a routine, right? The doctor says, take 2 tablets in the morning, 2 tablets in the evening, and follow certain diet regime. If you do that, you will get healthy. If we do that, a sincere person will do it and get healthy, right? Whether he understands it or does not understand it. So we have to consciously make attempts through good association, through the regulative principles of bhakti, through following the do's and avoiding the don'ts. And then naturally, like there are so many examples, as I shared Prabhupada disciple, and even now in our ISKCON society, people were in the past used to like certain maybe non-vegetarian food or certain restaurants, certain habits they had, or certain, like I know some people, the entire the movie would be released, they were the first one to watch it. But now they're, they naturally, when we have a higher taste, and the lower taste, one is able to, like when you have samosa, kachori, gulab jamun, etc., your favorite cuisines, then you will not be craving, or one will not crave for, dry 5-day-old chawal, right, or roti, or something, stale. When we have something better, and that something better is the taste of bhakti. But it's a journey. It's not an overnight thing. So we have to try. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Dhanyavad.
Thank you. Very nice question. So the whole point is, when we consciously engage our mind in the process of bhakti, even in subconscious way, it will get there. So therefore we have a whole schedule: japa, arati, bhajan, kirtans, festivals, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So many books are there, so much Krishna consciousness, so much flavor and variety, chanting, dancing, feasting, fasting, so much variety, festivals, dramas, creativity, art. One can use all these things in thinking about Krishna. Like Sampada makes such wonderful paintings. Avni, Vedehi, Vinita are such great dancers. Atar, they're all doing to please Krishna. Karina has such a beautiful voice. Sujaya Mataji, they're all doing it thinking about Krishna. Someone plays very nice musical instrument, and Prabhu, Vipul Prabhu. Someone is trying to manage festivals, thinking about Krishna. How will it please Krishna, right? Sudhir Prabhu does amazing book distribution. Lakshay joins every day for class for Bhagavatam, a 10-year-old. All these, Natasha Mataji is doing amazing programs, helping the whole community to grow spiritually, to please Krishna, right? This is the whole point. Desire to please Krishna and engaging our body, our mind, our words, our intelligence, which God has given us so many wonderful gifts, in thinking about Him, in detailing those. Man mana, engage your mind. Bhav mad bhakto, become my devotee. And then madhyaji, do worship, offer some bhoga, some fruits, flowers, incense, etc. Every day one should offer pranams to Tulsi, to deities, to devotees, right? Even we're at homes, right? We can offer pranams. Who is stopping us, right? If our health allows, if our body allows, we should do. Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami would do thousands of times of Dandavat Pranam. In Vrindavan, we go, some devotees are doing Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat means they are touching the 10 limbs of the body, like prostrated, fully, flat, Dandavat, like a stick. You know, a stick is here, falls down, flat, Dandavat. They offer Dandavat Pranam to the whole Govardhan, 22 kilometers, almost like 16 miles. Can we imagine? And what to speak of that? Some devotees do 108 times Dandavat Pranam. That means they will fall flat. They have a small shila, put on the where their hand goes, then pick the next one, again Dandavat, put the shila, 108 times at one spot, then they will move one step or one like body length further. That's their life. That's their life. It may take years to do that. But if you go to Govardhan Parikrama, you can see. So this is the whole point. By engaging in this, and we should try or to engage our mind also. You know, sometimes we may be engaging in physical things, but the mind is not there, right? Like chanting may be a good example, or offering arti could be a good example. So many things. Cooking could be a good example. We are engaging our body, but the mind is thinking of something else. That's not real devotion, but it is better than zero devotion, right? It's something is better than nothing, and slowly we will get there, right? But one should at least attempt. Oh, Baba, I'm cooking for Krishna. I'm thinking about a Bollywood movie. Hold on, I'll think about it later. Forget it, right? Or I'm cooking for Krishna, but I'm thinking about what my friend said this negative to him. What will I, next time I meet him or her, I will say this to her because she said this to me, right? I'm cooking for Krishna. This is right. So we should come back. Okay, forget about my friend. I'll do that later. Right now, let me think. Oh, how Mata Yashoda was cooking for Krishna. How Radharani was cooking for Krishna. Oh, will Krishna like? Let me be very conscious, right? Or these days they call it mindful. Be mindful of what we are doing, right? So we should be mindful while chanting. We should be our mind should be full of Krishna, then we'll become mindful, right? Because otherwise the mind will have a lot of kachra, a lot of garbage, mala. To purify this mala, we have to pour the nectar of Krishna. Imagine like a muddy water container, like a pool of muddy water, dirty water. And then we start pouring fresh, clean water. There's Krishna Bhakti. What will happen? It's not that immediately all the mud will go out and the pool, the pot of muddy water will be cleansed, and it will take time gradually. Let's say it was 100% concentrated muddy water, then it will go from 100% concentration to 90% muddy, 10% fresh, then 70%. The concentration of mud is going down as we are adding pure water. That pure water means chanting, Jeto Darpana Marjanam, reading, hearing, association, honoring Krishna Prasad, going for more and more association. And gradually there will be a time there will be 0% mud, 100% pure water. Now, when that time will come, based on the sincerity of the devotee, for some it may take years, some it may take lifetimes, some may take one moment. How sincerely? The attitude, the advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower, the intent of a devotee, and the consistency of efforts also. Namaskuru. So bhakti means practical devotional service. Bhakti is not armchairs philosophy. We have to engage our not just, oh, I'm just thinking of Krishna, thinking. It's practical, right? It's like if we respect someone, if we love someone, if someone is special to us, won't we do something for them, right? Right? If you have a special guest coming, a special friend coming, won't you try to make nice arrangements for them? Let me try to understand what they like to eat and let me cook that. Let me make sure that when they come here, their journey is comfortable, they have good prasadam, their needs are taken care, right? It's conscious. Similarly, when we are serving the Supreme Lord, it's a conscious endeavor to engage our mind, intelligence, namaskuru. These four things are discussed here, and this is the essence. So I highly recommend that everyone can try to learn this also. So this is such an important verse. And by this way, our life will be perfect. So intelligent people, Prabhupada is writing in the purport, should take to this process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world, right? Because bhakti makes one happy. It's not that bhakti one will be happy after the end of this body. Bhakti will make us happy in this world and in the next as well. Next means back home, back to Godhead. This is Krishna consciousness. This is bhakti. So just to sum up today, and this is the most important, very, very important. If you forget everything in Bhagavad Gita, if you just remember that we have to become Krishna's devotee, we have to think about him. When we start thinking consciously, we'll also think one day subconsciously, right? Like Srila Prabhupada, always thinking about Krishna. 24, pure devotee, they cannot think of anything but Krishna, even for a moment. That means they're 24/7 Krishna conscious, right? But we are trying to become pure devotees. That's why we are here. We're trying to become pure. And how will we become pure? By the regulative principles of bhakti. You know, I think the kids did a drama. The gopis are blaming Brahma. Hey, why did you create eyelids? For that second, for that fraction of a lover, or a fraction of a second, we cannot see Krishna because of the eyelids, are blinking. Your creation is faulty, Lord Brahma. That's their love. That's their 24/7 thinking about Krishna. So these are some points from chapter 9. Chapter 9 is the most confidential knowledge. And if you remember, the acronym was KING. The K is for the knowledge. The first few verses talk about the Vidya Rajaguhyam, the most confidential knowledge. Then we discuss the I of inconceivable relationships with the Lord. So directly or indirectly trying to see the hand of God in every aspect of Krishna's creation. He is the supreme director. He is the supreme creator. Directly and indirectly, we try to see God's hand. And then the N is there are some non-worshippers, those who deny Krishna's existence, those who are not faithful, so they will not be able to understand. So we discuss the contrast between Mahatmas and the fools, avajananti mamuda. When the Lord comes in the human form, the non-worshippers, the foolish people who are so puffed up in their own consciousness will not be able to understand. Whereas Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakriti mashrita, they are always able to understand because they are following 934, which is Krishna consciousness, pure bhakti. And then the N is, we discuss the N, and the G, the last few verses talk about the glories of pure bhakti. And today's verse is the climax or the zenith of that, to render pure bhakti, to think of Krishna, to offer, to become a devotee, to offer different items to the Lord, archana, and to offer also pranams. So with that, I will pause and we can take some thoughts, reflections, and questions. So thank you again for joining and giving your valuable time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Anyone has any thoughts, comments, questions, clarifications, corrections? You can unmute or
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So in 11, Avajante Mam Mura Manushim Tonum Asritam. So Krishna is always Satchit Ananda, whether in material world he comes for us or in spiritual world. So when comes Krishna in this material world, but takes the human form for us, but what form he takes when he's in the spiritual world? Same human form or any other different form?
Yeah, so this is answered at multiple places, but Krishna comes in the original form. So when we say spiritual world is very big, right? Spiritual world, we know spiritual world means Narshingaloka also. Spiritual world means different forms of Vaikuntha lokas, which are Krishna has, the Shad, the Chaturbhujaru, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Lord Vishnu. And in any arrangement, if the flower is in this hand, then it's a different loka. If the flower is in the left, upper left or bottom left hand, all these are different lokas in the Vaikuntha, the Varaha loka, Kurma loka, etc. But in the Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is in the Tribhanga Lalita Shama Sundar form. As Arjuna also says, please show me your two-handed form. So Krishna is always in that form because that's how a devotee likes to see the Lord in the two-handed form. Is that?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, any other thoughts, any additions, questions? Deepak Kumarji, where are you joining from? We're so blessed to have your association.
So I'm from India. So my sister-in-law actually is already devotee of you. So I am blessed to have joined this session today. And sorry if I got late, but still I've gone through few minutes of session. So it's really interesting. I like to join further on.
We are blessed to have you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji is my brother-in-law joining from India. I think today it is his first class here, but he joined in Natasha Mataji's class. So.
Thank you. You have a first-class family. Very nice. Thank you. Very nice. You see Priyanka Mataji is also there. Srivastava Mataji. A lot of new devotees are joining, which I'm so grateful for, and grateful to the friends or the family members who are inspiring others to join as well, because this is real bhakti. When we have some nectar, a miserly person keeps it with oneself. But a brahmana or a charitable person, a real person, wants to distribute that nectar. Because bhakti, when we distribute or share, it's not only the other person will get, we will get 10 times more. This is the transcendental bhakti. The more we share, the more we will get. In material life, if you share something, you lose that. Like let's say you have $100, you give 10 here, 20 here, 30 here, 40 here, and then you have left is 0. But in bhakti, you share with your friend, your brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother, father, daughter, son, friend, neighbor, you have 100 times more bhakti. Isn't it transcendental? Thank you for sharing. Anyone else has any other thoughts, questions?
So, Prabhu, just maybe just a thought, So, you talked about the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then the essence of essence, and the essence of essence of essence. So someday, I would, someday, I think you should take us deeper into that. Maybe, definitely not for today, but and then I have, Prabhu. I think those are some of my thoughts.
Deeper to this verse, you mean? Or
yeah, I believe there are 3 verses that you referred to, right? Did I misunderstand?
I mean, what specifically we were kind of referring is this verse here. 934, which is same as 18.65. So if we
Okay.
engage basically our body, our subtle body and our gross body, and become Krishna's devotee, this is like a really nutshell.
Yeah.
We can talk about
Yeah.
all these
No,
things.
Prabhu, it was one of the slides where you talked about some shloka which is like the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then you talked about some other shloka which is like the essence of essence, and then there was a third which you said is essence of essence of essence. I'm kind of
here?
missing. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, I think this one.
These are the chapters. The Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. The first 6, the
sorry,
last 6, and the
Okay,
middle
got
6.
Okay, I understand now. Okay, got it.
चलो नहीं रात तुम अगर सुबह नहीं करोगे पूरा शेड्यूल करो
I got it. I got it. Yeah.
Thank you for your
Yeah.
association.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
We are blessed to have you. Okay. Anyone else before we wrap up?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So you said about conscious and subconscious mind. So can you throw some more insight on that part, Prabhuji? Like what we are doing consciously and how it is going to impact our subconscious mind.
Yeah, like today you made a conscious choice, right? You made a conscious choice that you want to be part of the Gita reading, right? You had some level of control over it. We could have made a choice that I want to watch a movie, right? Or I want to play games, or I want to watch a cartoon, right? So there's a choice. There's always a choice we have, right? So the choices we are making consciously, where we are aware, right? Then that will impact our natural state also, or subconscious state, right? In the subconscious state also, we will naturally start to think of good or Krishna. If we are making conscious choices about chanting, in the beginning it will be tough, right? Because whenever there's a transitions are always tough, isn't it? Any transition, whether a transition to a new city, new country, new job, new family, etc., they're always a little bit, So therefore, the transition is when a devotee starts to practice bhakti, and it's a journey, right? In the beginning, the mind will say, "Hey, what about your friends? What about this party, that party? Hey, they are having fun. The mind," because consciously we had made those choices, and then subconsciously also we become conditioned. For example, I'll give an example of this. The first time, let's say someone does a crime, stealing, okay? One steals something from the market, that's it. There will be a voice from within. Hey, Baba, you did that. It's not good. That voice will be there from the Chaitya Guru, from Paramatma. Now one has a choice to listen to that voice or to ignore that voice, right? How does one become a hardcore murderer, killer, right? Have you ever wondered, how does one become like that? Or same in a hardcore pure devotee also, right? Because of the conscious choices they are making. Anything good does not come overnight, and anything worse also, it happens organically only, right? So the first time they have a choice to not repeat that small mistake they did, or they will say, hey, forget about it. My friend also did. He also does. She also does. It's not a big deal. After all, it's just a small, forget about it. Next time they may do a little bigger. And maybe this is not right. This doesn't seem right. They have a choice to ignore it or to listen to it. If they listen to it, they will be regretful. The 6 R's they will follow. They will realize, they will repent, they will not repeat, they will reform, and they will remember and not repeat it. But they have a choice to ignore it, forget about it. Oh, look at that person. They will sing the bad example. Look at that person. He does all that stuff. And then slowly, they will continue in the whirlpool of bad. And then the time will come, their subconscious mind will also say, this is natural. This is fine. I've been doing it forever, right? Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krodha Vichayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammoha Smriti Vibrama Smriti Bhramsad Buddhi Nasha Pranashyati. Buddhi ka nash, intelligence is destroyed. How it happens? Through small endeavors, through little endeavors, contemplation, right? We have a choice. When we contemplate, like Ajamil had a choice after contemplation to do that activity or not do that activity. The intelligence first gives a guide, but when we don't hear the good intelligence, which is nourished through the scriptures, through a good association, we have a choice to follow or not follow. So that's the cycle, right? Any good habits build over time, and bad habits also build over time. Are we nourishing the good dog within? Are we nourishing the bad dog within? If we're nourishing the good dog, the subconsciously also we will get good choices. If we are nourishing the bad dog, then subconscious mind is also getting trained to behave badly. So it's a matter of all choices. That's that.
One follow-up question, Prabhuji. Then this gets carried forward to the next life. Like if somebody happens to take birth again, whether we made a good choice or bad choice, like whether we have good conscious, bad conscious, it gets transmigrated to the next birth also, right?
Yes, absolutely. The story of Kailash is a good example. Kailash was very attached to the property, my property, my property, my property. I want to guard these kids, foolish kids. They don't know how to guard. They don't lock the property and they're running, going to the malls and going here and there. Who will come? The thieves will come and steal the property. And he left his body. And guess what? He became a dog. Bow, bow. And he would guard things. Hey, don't come. It's my property. Don't come. Right? He became a dog in the next life. The consciousness, he was still thinking, oh, it's my property. So yes, absolutely. The desires are carried over. The subtle mind, intelligence, ego is carried over. The gross body, made up of 5 elements, that goes to the 5 elements. The new, fresh, gross elements are given. Maybe in a dark body, maybe in a different body, but the mind, intelligence, and ego remains the same. And it keeps transferring the desires, etc.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Very nice, intelligent questions. Thank you. Okay, last 1 or 2 minutes for any quick questions. I see our friend has also joined, right? Nidhiji, thank you for joining.
Yes, Prabhuji, she is there.
Thank you. I'm so blessed to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for having me.
Thank you. Yes, Ramanji, you were speaking something?
No, Prabhu. Very, very nice class. So, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji?
Yes, Nidhiji, please.
Okay, I had to leave for you, but it's not disregard to you, but I am in the temple canteen. I had to serve prasadam. So please excuse me, okay?
Please take care of what you have to
Thank
do. And
you.
anyways, we're winding up now.
Very well.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we're all set here, unless Nidhiji, you were speaking something? Do you have a comment? Okay, so I won't delay and we'll kind of pause here. Thank you so much again for your time and your wonderful association. Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Shubha ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Panchakal Patarupyascha Kripasindhubhya Vacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Wonderful day.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.